Welcome to Meme Reads. Today we're covering r/Am I the Butthole, where OP tells her aunt to just get over her daughter's death.
This next post is by SpiritedAd9924. Am I the butthole for telling my aunt to get over her daughter's death? So my cousin is turning 18 next month and she isn't looking forward to it. She was a twin and her sister unfortunately passed a few hours after birth. This is obviously very upsetting for all members of the family and a horrible situation to be handed. However, me and my cousin are extremely close, and every single birthday she's had has also been about her twin sister. Her mom will always put up a little fancy background with her twin's ashes and make my cousin take photos with it every birthday. She always posts, "Happy birthday to my two beautiful girls." Up until my cousin was about 6, she was okay with this. However, since then, she's always expressed how she no longer feels like her birthdays are important anymore, and it makes her mother upset due to the reminder. She also feels like everyone only talks about her twin, and they're so sorry for her loss. She doesn't feel like an individual person and constantly feels attached to her dead twin. Last night I asked her what she was doing for her birthday. She said that her dad had wanted to take her to Spain, but her mother said no because, "I don't think we can take the ashes overseas, and it's too risky to bring Layla, the twin who passed, in case something happens." This upset me a little, as her 18th is a big birthday, and she's being held back by her sister, who A, isn't alive, and B, she doesn't even remember. I asked her if she told her mom how upset she gets about her birthdays and how she doesn't feel like she can be an individual. She said that she doesn't want to upset her mom, so she hasn't told her. Today at the family gathering, my aunt was talking about how excited she was for the photographer to take pictures of my cousin and Layla's urn. I pulled her to one side and I said that we all understand how she feels, but that she needs to get over it and accept that Layla is gone and focus on her living daughter. She was then extremely offended, even after I told her how my cousin feels. She has then uninvited me from my cousin's birthday. Am I the butthole for this? Update. After reading some comments, I messaged my cousin's dad, who has agreed that us three will be going to Spain to celebrate my cousin's 18th. My aunt is definitely not happy with this, as it's disrespectful to Layla and to everyone else who made plans to see my cousin. But the flights and the hotel are now booked, and my cousin is feeling a lot better about her 18th birthday. After the update, I think it's obvious that OP is not the butthole. I actually think what OP did here was a good thing. They stood up for their cousin when they saw that their cousin was in an uncomfortable situation, and because of that, their cousin got the birthday that they wanted. You told your aunt what she needed to hear, and what everyone else was too afraid to tell her, and because of this, she got mad. But it's not about her, it's about your cousin, and her 18th birthday, and the birthday that she was originally promised. I think it is kind of messed up to cancel such a big trip for a big milestone, just because you can't take a picture with an urn? I mean, I get the sentiment, but I do think she also needs to move on from her daughter's death. Also, mad props to the dad for booking the trip anyway.
This next post is from SEO403. Am I the butthole for refusing to pay the whole bill for 7 people? 6 people, not 7. It's been a very dramatic couple of weeks. I'm currently on holiday in the country of my birth. I suggested an old friend of mine to join me for dinner. He asked if he could bring 4 of his acquaintances with him, which I agreed to. I also suggested that we go to a place that I rented after dinner, as it was pretty nice. I suggested the restaurant and everyone was fine with the location. We got there and everyone started ordering. Cocktails, lobster, sushi, everything was fine. We were having a good laugh. However, the bill came and it was 770 euros. I told my friend that we should all split it evenly, which he was cool with, and the other guy said he was kind of broke right now and could only spend 25 euros, despite eating a close to 100 euros worth of food or more. I knew things were gonna go south. 2 of the women were on their phones, silent and disengaged, and the other woman had the audacity to openly and confidently suggest that I be a gentleman and cover the bill, as you're clearly doing better. I asked her why she would assume that, and she said, "That's what it seems like on Instagram." Mind you, all I have on my Instagram are pictures of holidays and business related stuff. No fast cars or anything like that. I told them that I didn't even know them and that this is not a date. She said that she didn't expect to have to pay. My friend said he isn't dating them either and he just met them at work. I was getting upset at the entitlement and asked my friend whether he told them anything that points towards me paying. He said he didn't and that each of them always pays for their own things. I suggested he deal with them as he invited them over. It became a back and forth with the 3 of them crying, "It's too expensive," or "This is not fair." Well, it seemed fair to me when you were ordering like you had a fountain of money, clearly, but not when it was time to pay up. I got fed up and said that I'm not even going to split the bill evenly anymore. I'm just going to cover what I spent on my food, 52 euros. And then I was going to go home on my own, which seemed to offend them even more than just splitting the bill. I stood up, went to the counter, told the waiter what I consumed, and each would pay for their own stuff, paid, and then went back to the table. Apparently, aside from my friend, none of them had enough for the bill, or so they said. I felt a little bad as they were trying to figure out how to pay. However, I didn't, and instead I ended up being petty and giving the waiter a big tip right in front of them. Had they not been entitled about it and said it before agreeing to come, I would have at least considered it, but not like this. Am I the butthole for refusing to pay for these entitled brats? So this might just be me being from the South. However, I feel like when you invite somebody out to dinner, it is polite to pay for them. However, you're not really entitled to pay for their dinner, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything towards OP in this situation because your brother did invite them to the dinner. So if anything, it would have been the nice thing to do for your brother to offer to pay for their dinner before the meal. But that doesn't necessarily mean he has to pay for their dinner. They're not entitled to free food just because somebody asked them to a dinner. I heard Daphne from the r/podcast say this, and it made total sense to me. The absence of niceness is not rudeness, it's just the absence of niceness. Just because it's polite to pay for somebody's dinner when you invite them doesn't mean you're obligated to. It's just a really nice thing to do. However, these entitled brats obviously don't deserve your kindness, and they deserve a 3.5 out of 5 buttholes for being entitled jerks when you didn't even offer to pay for the meal in the first place. And you and your brother get 0 out of 5 buttholes because you were just trying to have a nice dinner with some new people you just met, and they were being super rude.
This next post is by LaughingHousemateTA. Am I the butthole for laughing at my housemate when he suggested I not shower on my period? I'm a 31-year-old woman, and I live in a share house. What if my housemate's named Jack, who's a 30-year-old man, has never lived with a woman outside of his mother, but likes to say that he's aware of women's issues, and calls himself a feminist? For instance, he doesn't agree with the saying, "No uterus, no opinion," because it's my job to be informed about any issues that could affect me if I become a father or husband, which is fine until it came to this issue. So, like most biological women, I have periods. I, however, cannot use tampons or cups due to a condition called vaginismus. It's pads all the time for me. Yay. I also shower during this time. I know, the shock. Wow. I prepare a new pad onto a clean pair of underwear, shower as normal, dry myself off in the shower, and step straight into the undies. And obviously, I check the bathroom for a mess. Jack's never complained, nor has anyone else, so I figured that my system was working. Cue today, and I can't shower for 48 hours due to a heart monitor test. I was jokingly complaining about how I was going to survive without my nightly shower, and Jack looked confused and said, "How is this any different from when you're on your period?" I asked him what he meant, and he said, "Well, you can't shower on your period unless you use a tampon." And I laughed because I thought he was joking, which he got angry at. He has shown before that he was at least semi-educated on women. Jack then asked, "Wait, well, what do you do?" And I said slowly, "I shower?" I wasn't getting it, I'm afraid. Jack said, "Without protecting my bathroom?" He does not own the house, and then went off. Apparently, my period is unhygienic. It can cause infection if left on the shower floor. What? And he was under the impression that I hadn't been showering for a week when I had my period, or using tampons. I said that due to reasons I can't use tampons, and he told me then that I'm banned from using the shower when I'm on my period, which, again, I laughed at. I did apologize for it, and I said, "I'm sorry for laughing, but the audacity of that statement." I told Jack that he has no way of enforcing this, nor would I be sticking to this, and he said, "Fine, then every time you shower, you need to bleach the bathroom afterwards." To which I couldn't help but laugh again, apologizing, but saying, "We're in a share house. That's not reasonable when other people need to use the shower or use the toilet, and considering that I'm sure at least somebody else pees in the shower, I think it's ridiculous to only enforce this on me." I brought that up and he said, "Nobody does that. I've never heard of that in my life." So I just had to walk away. Jack's been complaining to our other housemates about this and saying that we need to watch out for me. And the rest of us just think it's absurd for him banning me. But a couple think that I should just at least try and compromise. So I'm confused. Am I the butthole? OP, you are not the butthole, as you didn't do anything wrong, and I don't think you should have to compromise. It's not your fault or problem that this guy doesn't know basic women anatomy. Like, no, period blood is not going to cause an infection if left on the bathroom floor. I mean, maybe if it's left there for a long time, but it's in the shower. It's going down the drain. Literally, it's being washed away. What I'm saying is that this situation is ridiculous, and I don't think you're the butthole here at all. I don't even think you need to apologize for laughing, because the situation is laughable. His weird bathroom rules against women is just absurd and ridiculous. I don't think the roommate is necessarily a butthole, he's just stupid. So I think I'm going to give him 0.5 out of 5 buttholes for trying to enforce weird rules against the women in the house. Anyways, OP, you don't have to compromise on anything. Just keep being you.
This next post is from throwrasutwy. Am I the butthole for telling my wife that I don't care about her dreams? My wife wants to be an influencer on TikTok and YouTube. She's been creating mommy content and content about her day-to-day life. When she told me this is something that she wanted to do, I didn't have a problem with it. I only told her I didn't want our 2 children, a 4-year-old male and a 2-year-old female, in any of her content. I didn't check out her channel because it didn't really seem necessary. I recently watched her channel because I thought it'd be cute to see what she does in her day-to-day life, but this is when I found our children's faces in almost all of her content. I straight up told her that she needs to remove all of her content. She said that she knew I wouldn't agree, but she didn't think it was a big deal. I don't like children's content. I feel like when you see your children make profit, they become less of your kids and more of a product, and your interactions become more performative. And I could see the same thing happening in her, because she posted a video of getting our 2-year-old out of a tantrum and how she deals with it. But how is your first instinct to record and hold a camera whilst our baby is crying? She started crying and saying that she built this up and this is her dream and deleting her content will just ruin it. And I said simply that I don't give a fuck. If you don't delete it, I'll consider a divorce. I know a lot of people that have children here on social media, and I don't mind Instagram and Facebook posts, but videos seem too intimate to share. She told her friends and even hinted on social media accounts that she has an over-controlling and narcissist husband that doesn't want her on social media, and I'm currently being ridiculed by her friends. Am I being over-controlling and narcissistic? Quick edit for more context. Somebody asked what kind of content she makes. The content isn't really harmful, just her feeding and playing with them, but there's 2 types of videos that I have a problem with. It's her recording the children's tantrums, and our 2-year-old doesn't like clothes. We're trying to get her to wear them more, but our house can also be hot, and she's in diapers a lot. I don't like videos of my daughter being in just her diaper on the internet. OP, I feel like you're definitely not the butthole here. Putting aside the fact that she's ignoring her own crying child to make videos for her TikTok and YouTube, that's definitely disgusting behavior in my opinion. However, you set a boundary with her saying, hey, it's okay for you to have a TikTok and YouTube, you just shouldn't involve the kids in it. And then what does she do? She goes right behind your back and then makes content with them in it anyway, and then cries when you're mad about it and want it taken down. You didn't want it made in the first place. I can definitely see where you're coming from, OP. When somebody steps over a boundary that you set up with them, it's really hard to trust them after that, especially when it has to do with your own children. In my opinion, OP, you get a rock solid 0 out of 5 buttholes. All you did was set up a boundary that respected your own children's privacy, and then you stuck by it. However, in my opinion, your wife gets a 4 out of 5 buttholes because not only is she ignoring her own crying child, but she's also stepping over your boundaries that you had clearly previously established with her.
That was r/am I the butthole. If you like this content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.